Welcome to Coffee Chat with Phoenix number 16. A new filming location, my couch. We're giving it a try today. Grab the beverage of your choice, take a sip, take a seat, relax. We're gonna do a Q&A today. So get ready for quick fire piano teacher tips on a myriad of topics, and maybe your question will be answered. This may or may not be my third coffee of the day, so I only filled it up halfway. Before I get to the questions, I just want to mention that I so appreciate all of your comments. Whether you comment on my YouTube videos, comment on my blog posts, send me emails, I love you all. I read every single one of them. But we are getting to the point where I'm having a hard time answering everybody's questions, especially since you guys come up with the best, most in-depth questions. I love that about you. This is no shallow community of teachers, and I adore that. If you have asked me a question, left me a dear comment, and you have not heard back from me, my sincerest apologies. Just know that I really, truly do appreciate every comment that I read. Oh, I just can't respond to all of them. And brings me to my next point. If you have a sort of a quick question for Phoenix, you can leave it in this YouTube video as a comment, in a comment on another YouTube video that it is relevant to. You can email me your questions as well, or you can leave your questions on a blog post at TheTattooedPianoTeacher.com. I do check all those places and kind of gather good questions for these Q&As that we do every so often. However, if you have a super in-depth or specific question, maybe something about your business specifically, or something that simply cannot be answered in 5 minutes or less, then there's a couple of things that you can do. Of course, you can still ask me. Sometimes I use your questions to come up with video content. So if your question is like so good that I think it would benefit the entire community and it's going to take me 10 to 15 minutes to answer it, I turn it into a YouTube video. And I actually did that this month with Robin. Robin emailed me and asked, how do you structure your lessons? And so rather than bringing that question to a video like this, I was like, whoa, girl, this is going to take. So I turned it into a video. So you'll see that video if you haven't already about how I structure my 30-minute, 40-minute, 60-minute lessons. If your question is maybe specific to you and you feel like you need some one-on-one help, just know that I really do want to help everybody, but I just can't be at my computer for hours every day. I have to do my other jobs as well. So if you want, you are welcome to book a coaching call with me. Like if you want some one-on-one time, you want a video chat with me, for 40 minutes and go over your specific question or your issue that you're having with your students or your studio, I would love to have you on a coaching call. I've had some wonderful conversations with some piano teachers, both new and veteran, about various situations. So I will link that down below. I know that that's not an option for everyone budget-wise. So keep sending me your questions and I will do the best I can. So question number 1 comes from Deborah, and she asks about adapting to different maturity levels, like different students' maturity levels. And this is a really great question. Absolutely, as piano teachers, we do have to pivot our plans, our selected materials, our lesson lengths, our teaching style based on the individual student. And so a great question is just like, as a new teacher, how do you do this? Like if you have one student who just started and is 8 years old, and then you have another student who just started and is 8 years old, they should have the same books, the same path, the same pace, right? Wrong. They are most likely going to need different things. And then of course we have different age ranges too. So a beginning student who is 17 years old is going to need different books, a different approach, a different pace, basically everything different than like a 4-year-old beginner, right? Okay, so there are a million different variations and you really have to just experience those different personalities and maturity levels in order to get good at teaching all of the different variety of kids and adults that are gonna come through your studio over the years. So my advice, if you are a brand new teacher and you're feeling a bit nervous about kind of not knowing what to expect with students who are moving slow through the book, students who are moving fast through the book, students who need a different book. The number one piece of advice that I can give you is to keep an open mind, be ready to experiment, be ready to pivot, be ready to listen. One of the biggest mistakes I made as a new teacher was to plan and talk too much. It was all about me, right? Like, I'm the teacher, I'm the expert. Let me give you what you need. Let me fit you into this box that I know will help you be a successful piano teacher. And my intentions were good, but I saw those slower students or students who needed a different approach as being, the slow student. So I thought, okay, they have an issue that I need to fix. And students are never an issue that you need to fix. So in a way, that takes the weight off of your shoulders a little bit, because you're not doing anything wrong and that student isn't doing anything wrong. Now, of course, there are factors like, maybe they need to practice more. Maybe they don't have the right keyboard at home. Maybe their parents aren't being very cooperative. Things like that can improve their progress just by making some changes. But I'm not necessarily talking about that. I'm more talking about like a student's inherent learning style, learning pace, and just like personality, Every student is different, and every student, you should go into that first lesson with a clean slate. Yes, have your preferred piano method books on the shelf ready for them. Obviously have some materials for them. Have a plan B and probably a plan C. Have a plan, but then just take in what the student is bringing to you, take in their energy, listen to them, let them be themselves in those first few lessons, and they will actually show you what they need. That's about as specific as I can get with that question. So in conclusion, the best way as a teacher to adapt to different maturity levels is to go in with a plan and materials, go in with your best teacher resources, and then really take a back seat in those first few lessons as much as you can, and let the student open up and show you who they are and what they need. As far as materials go, I hope that you find my channel helpful in finding new resources. There are so many different dozens of piano method series out there, different authors, different styles. The pages look different. The pacing is different. The approach is different. So there's no excuse to use the same method books for every student. That's my other piece of advice there. So if you need some hints on where to begin, check out some of the piano method reviews on my channel and just see if you can expand your repertoire as far as materials go, and then just get creative, and experience is the best teacher. So we're going to leave it at that for that question. Question number 2, and I've been seeing this question on the Facebook groups as well from piano teachers, but Clarence asked me to give more information about business record keeping. And this is something that if you're a new piano teacher or you're starting to grow your business and finding that your old method of keeping track of everything is just not working for you anymore, the simplest answer I can give you is, if you're not using MyMusicStaff, the platform that is specifically designed for music studio owners, you need to get on that. It is just like a no-brainer for me. It's only $15 a month, and you can try it for 30 days, totally free, without even giving them your credit card. I know I sound like a commercial, but I will link it below because I believe in it so adamantly. But MyMusicStaff will help keep you organized. If you use all the features on it, you will have your invoicing done for you. So professional looking invoices in your brand colors with your logo being sent out automatically every month to all of your families. You can set up auto charge, or they can pay you by simply clicking a button on the invoice that you email them. Okay, so that's one part. The other part is the scheduling feature, which, how can you live without that? I don't know. The calendar feature lets you input your recurring lessons, so you always have your schedule ready to go there, and you can input openings if you want makeups to happen in your studio, but you don't want to have to be the one to schedule them. Then the MyMusicStaff calendar is brilliant. Parents can log on, see when you're available, and just sign themselves up for an opening, and they can cancel their lesson right there online. You don't have to talk to a soul. If you're an introvert, it's great. You just receive an email, this person canceled this lesson, or this person signed up for this lesson. Easy done. And then the third and most relevant to this question feature on MyMusicStaff would be the income and expenses reports and keeping track of all that. So all in one place. This makes tax time so easy. Like click and print. So in MyMusicStaff, obviously it's going to keep track of all your income. If you're a piano teacher, then your families are paying you money, and MyMusicStaff is automatically keeping track of that for you. And then expenses, what you have to do is every time you spend money on your business, you have to enter it into MyMusicStaff. But if you get into a habit of this, it's super easy. You can even upload a receipt into the system and it'll automatically pull the relevant information from a PDF. If you are diligent and you enter every single one of your expenses into MyMusicStaff, you put them under the right categories, and you don't sleep on that, then at the end of the year, it is so easy to see and take to your tax professional. This is how much I made. This is how much I spent. There you go. Easy and done. Every year, my tax person is like, you are the most organized small business owner of all my clients. And I'm like, first of all, thank you. Second of all, it's MyMusicStaff. It is so worth the $15 a month. I can't even. If you want to grow your studio into a multi-teacher studio, MyMusicStaff will also hold your hand through that. So when I did have a couple of hired teachers, it's $5 a month in addition to your base $15 per extra teacher. So if you have 3 teachers, then you would be spending $25 a month. But then you can do all of your payroll for the teachers right there through MyMusicStaff. Keeps track of all of that as well. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Oh my goodness, I already lost track. Was that question 2 or was that question 3? Okay, I think that was question 2. So question 3 comes from Karen, and she asked me, how long does it take to do your Compose with Dice activity? She's looking to do it with a group. So she's looking to kind of get a time frame on that. So if you're not familiar, I created this little composition activity for beginners that is called Compose with Dice. So it includes a chart and worksheets to draw out the notes of a 5-finger scale. It includes the C major pentascale, G, D, A, and F. So if your student is like working to move to a new pentascale and you want to get them reading notes in that pentascale, Compose with Dice is great for that. But on the other hand, it's also introducing music composition at the piano in a really accessible way that's not intimidating. Because when it actually comes down to composing, they are simply rolling a dice to come up with the treble clef note names. So they're not starting from scratch. The dice is literally composing for them. So I have a whole video about Compose with Dice. If you want to hear all about it and see all the different seasonal sets and stuff like that, hear about the benefits and how that works, check out this video right here. So it's a little hard to answer this question. It's kind of like asking how long does it take to get through a method book? Like, it depends on the student, right? Because some students kind of like fly through it. They just get into a routine. They're drawing their notes, they're rolling their dice. And literally in like 10 minutes, they'll have done the worksheet, the drawing notes practice worksheet, and compose their song. Other students are like so pokey at this process. Like they're having a blast. But they're like, they're playing with the dice and then they're like so slow to draw their notes. Oh my gosh. So when I'm working with a private student and using the Compose with Dice, usually I allot 5 minutes at the end of a lesson, and then I see how far we get, and then we'll work at it at the next lesson as well. So usually like 2 5-minute sessions will do it, but sometimes they'll need more time. So I just need to see from student to student. Now, if you are using Compose with Dice in a group setting, and it works really well for that, you're gonna have a variety of kids, some slow, some fast. Okay, so you could allot like a 30-minute group session to the Compose with Dice activity, but what you would want to do is have a drawing worksheet and then a backup worksheet. And then you want to give them their main composing sheet and then a backup song sheet, because some of them are gonna finish it so much sooner than other ones, and that's fine, because in a group setting you can kind of set it up, introduce the scale, go through what the notes of the scale are, talk about how to draw quarter notes on the line or the space, stem direction, go through that with everyone, and then do an example where everyone rolls a dice and draws their first note on the worksheet, right? Get them set up with that and then let them roll with that. So they all kind of work independently and you just check on all of them individually, like a classroom teacher approach. And then for the composition sheet, you would again just set it up. Like do the first note together where everyone rolls the dice at the same time, everyone draws their notes, and you check everybody's note to make sure that they know what they're doing. Once you've checked like their first couple notes, then they can just roll at their own pace. So one of them will take the entire 30 minutes to get their one song written, and you might have to do the last 2 notes for them because they were so slow. And then kid across the room has done the entire song sheet and then is like, what do I do? I'm done. So that's why I say have the second song sheet. But it can work really well. And at the end of the session, everyone can play their songs for each other. Or if they are really shy, then you can play their song for them. You guys can talk in a group about consonance and dissonance and what did you pick when you rolled a 6, because then you get to pick your own note. And so it can kind of be like introduce as a group, work independently. Come back as a group, work independently, listen to the songs, and talk through as a group. So it can work as a group as well. So that wasn't a definitive answer, but hopefully it gives you some ideas as to how to use it and how to allot the time for using the Compose with Dice activity. And I will link the sales page for those as well if you want to browse them. Okay, question number 4. All right, I'm going off of a YouTube handle here, so I'm going to possibly butcher your name. I'm so sorry. I'm going to say Shalea asked me on a YouTube comment, hi Phoenix, do you have any tips for marketing, particularly for special events like day camps? I'm trying to host my own music day camps for the first time this year, and it has been hard to get people signed up. Okay, so actually this comment was from a really long time ago, and it was probably for summer. Probably not relevant anymore. So sorry. But always a relevant thing. Like we always want to be able to market special classes or camps or stuff like that. Okay, so a couple of thoughts that I don't know if it will be helpful or not, but if you're watching this and you have experience with this, maybe we can help each other out in the comments. So the more I thought about this, the more I was like, gosh, I don't know. I don't know. Usually when I do special camps or workshops, I honestly try to keep it to things that are going to be relevant to enough of my current students so that I don't have to market outside of my studio, because it is hard to get people to sign up, for a camp or a class. If you're just like a single small business, you're just a studio with just you, it can be kind of hard to get the word out there and to get people to sign up for it. I'll be honest, it is. So for the past few years, I have stuck to camps, workshops, and special events that only involve my current students. So I kind of gear it towards what I know they're going to want to do. And then I just promote within my studio. So I would say tip number 1, if you can at least get a base of students to sign up for your special event or your camp from your current students, then that's going to be a much more stable way to start the roster for that. And then you can add in as many people as you are able to get. However, I do realize that in some cases you literally want, new students to come into your studio. Like if you were doing a group piano class or, a camp of little ones where you wanted to get more people into your studio and get outside families to get to know you, then that word of advice is not so helpful. Some things that I have done to varying degrees of success in the past years when I did do some classes where I wanted outside recruitment outside of my studio is I did find some Facebook groups where it was okay to post like a class before the summer months or before the winter months or whenever your camp is happening. But you have to make sure that the Facebook group is okay with that, because some of them will call that self-promotion and you'll get kicked out of the group forever. That would not work out well. Also, parents on Facebook groups, like for your local area or whatever, oftentimes parents ask each other, hey, do you know of any music classes for my 4-year-old this summer or whatever? In that case, you can sneak into the comments. So one trick is if you find Facebook groups to be a part of, like parent groups or whatever, like local groups, then you can search within that group for any posts or comments that include the word music or piano. So that way you can, without having to like keep up and scroll, especially if the group isn't really relevant for you, you can just seek out any relevant questions. Like, did anyone this week ask for a piano teacher? Can I sneak in there? Again, you want to make this organic and genuine and casual. You don't want to be like trying to put your name on all over these Facebook groups. That's not going to look good for you. Another thing that I found helpful was local websites. Now, granted, I do live in like a larger metropolitan area, so there's probably more of these here, but local like parent websites where they have a directory of camps or of classes, something like that. It's almost like the recreation department does their own catalog. Well, there are some websites or bloggers or local magazines, hopefully in your area, where, you know, if a parent is looking for a comprehensive list of spring break opportunities or summer camps or something like that. I have gotten the contact info for whoever runs those pages, and then I just ask them if I can include my own class with a link, and they've said yes. So I haven't got a ton of people from those, but that is something. And then another thing you might want to do is simply to talk to your current families and see if you can like get some recruitment by word of mouth. So actually, I just made a video about how to find new piano students in 2026. And that might be relevant even if you're looking to do like a temporary class, not like get a permanent piano student. But the tips in that video might be relevant. And one of the things we talk about in that video is like recruiting based on just letting your families know like, hey, just so you know, sending out an email blast. I am trying to fill up this class. If you have any friends, neighbors, family, cousins, church group, youth group, school in this age group, I would love to give them my contact info or whatever. So that can work. And then also, of course, creating a specific page for that and putting the keywords that parents might be looking for. So if a parent does Google, I'm looking for a class of this sort, or music class, piano class, little kid, dance class, whatever you're promoting, if you can put that keyword all over the place and then have that as a separate page on your website, it might get found on Google. Sometimes those things take time though. So if you're in a crunch, that might not help you. Okay, but those are the thoughts that I have. If you have some ideas on recruiting people to a specific camp that your studio is running or something like that, please share those down in the comments so we can help each other out in that situation. Okay, question number 5 comes from Lori, and this was on my Save Money on Piano Method books. I talk about everypianobook.com, which gives discounts on piano methods and free shipping. Okay, so she commented not so long ago, I went to Every Music Book and added Piano Adventures Primer Level 4 books and added the Christmas book, and they said shipping is $5.99. You said in the video that shipping was free if you ordered $25 or more. Any ideas? Thanks. Okay, yes, Lori. So I made that video in 2023, and things have changed. Now, it's still a great website to find a deal. I do still order from them occasionally if I'm not in a super big rush to get my piano books and I need like more than a couple of them. But the discount and the shipping has changed on everymusic.com. So maybe I should make an updated video. I might just comment on that video and let everyone know. But yeah, the times, they are a-changin'. So here's how Every Music Book works now. It's no longer 40% off of the standard method books like Piano Adventures or Alfred. It's now 30% off. Still pretty good. And then now it is free shipping over $35. So I'm guessing with the economy being the way it is, with shipping rates, with the increase in method book prices. I'm guessing that's why they made that change. I'm not sure exactly when they made that change, but I noticed it earlier this year. So sorry that I didn't let you all know. But yes, every music book is 30% off most method books and free shipping over $35. So I believe that the $35 free shipping thing works. I don't know if, Lori, if maybe you had only like between 25 and 35 in your cart and that's why they tried to charge you shipping. I'm not sure. When I used it this year, I did get free shipping over $35. So let me know your experience with everymusicbook.com, but I still think it's worth ordering from if you do need over $35 worth of music or you want to get that 30% off. All right, I think I'm on question number 6. Oh my gosh, I should have kept track of them. I think question number 6 was from my video. This is what I earn on YouTube. So Stanko Marks commented, thanks for being so open with your metrics. Do you have any advice for starting a channel? Okay, so honestly, I don't think I'm the person to give YouTube advice to. I love that we built this community here, but I don't know that I have any like huge success or something like some people do. But my advice for someone who wants to start a YouTube channel is I'm gonna give you 3 really, really quick tips. One is to just start and show up not perfectly. Your self might not feel perfect. Your microphone might not feel perfect. Your video recording equipment might not feel perfect. Your editing might not feel perfect. Your topics might not feel perfect. Your expertise might not feel perfect, but that's okay. Like there are so many people out there who are more educated than me, who have more teaching experience than me, who have higher IQs than me. Of course, there are always gonna be people who could do it better, but you know what? They're not doing it. So you watching this right now, you're getting advice from me because I'm out here saying it. Someone else might give you better advice, but they don't have a YouTube channel. So the reality is that there is a place for you if you want there to be. So you just have to start getting content out there. You'll learn as you go. My next tip is to think outside of just YouTube and come up with some long-term goals, because although YouTube is awesome, as you saw in that video, you're not going to make very much, at least at the beginning and probably throughout your journey. YouTube is not going to be the reason that you get to quit your 9 to 5. Sorry to tell you that. But if you think about YouTube as one spoke in your wheel of your ideal business, brand, goals, whatever you want to do, then just think about like, how does YouTube fit into the grand scheme of things? And if you think that way, then even if your first video only gets 10 views, you're already capturing the attention of those 10 people, and it's up to you what you do with that attention. So think about the people who are watching my videos, even if it's only a few, what do I want to show them? What do I want to share with them? What do I want them to do next? How do I want them to interact with me or come into my community? So think long-term, think bigger picture. And then my third quick tip for a new YouTuber is to try to make genuine content versus what you think the algorithm wants you to make. There are a million YouTubers out there right now that are all fighting for the algorithm to show their stuff. And yes, you do want to put some keywords in your titles. You want to be a little strategic about that. You want to film some videos that are going to reach a broader audience. But at the end of the day, metrics are people. Views are people. They're human souls. And so you want to be as genuine and be as specific, topic specific, niche specific as you can be. And you might not get millions of views, but the few views you do get will be genuine people who are actually interested in what you are trying to teach about or share. So those are my quick tips for a new YouTuber. And final question number 7, I think. And this comes from my Piano Pronto review. Sue commented, thanks for the thorough review. I'm a new teacher. I purchased my own copy of Piano Pronto and Fired Up, along with several other series, but I haven't yet been inspired to use either with students. Your review confirmed many of the shortcomings I'd sensed, as well as some positives. So my question now, what is the best method book to start older beginners in, say over age 10? Sue, this is the question of 2025 on this channel. This is a question that I have been wrestling with, honestly, for years, because for years I just used the Faber Accelerated Piano Adventures because I liked the Piano Adventures regular series. So, it was like a loyalty thing or like a default thing. So I was just using that one. And all the while finding many of the things about, especially the first book, first few pages. If you've watched my review of the Accelerated series, you know that it lacks a little luster for me. And seeing all the issues with it, but for some reason, it took me so long to actually start looking for a better older beginner series. So literally that has been my piano method review theme for 2025. I've deviated from it a little bit, but behind the scenes, guys, I am spending months researching all of the older beginner series that I can find. So as of today, you can watch my Faber Accelerated review. You can watch my Piano Safari for the older student review. So those are the two that I've done. These take months to research. I order all the books. I look through all the books. I use the books. I engross myself in the books. I do not want to bring you a surfacey review. And I built a name for myself doing piano method reviews. So if I'm going to do a review, I'm going to do a review. So guys, be patient with me. I am working my way through the older beginner series, and I have a little tidbit of information just for you who you made it all the way to the end of this video, because I know most people who click on this video are not going to make it to the end. Honestly, most people who watch my videos on my channel are not even going to watch this video at all. This is just for the inner circle. So, okay, come close. I am currently researching and working on the Wonder Keys Older Beginner Pop series. That's the next one up. Okay, shh, don't tell anyone. I have not told anyone that. You are the only people who know that. So you're gonna have to be patient with me because I really, really wanna research this series in depth before I bring you that review, but maybe in a couple months, we'll see. So that does it for our Q&A today. If you have a burning question for me for our next Q&A session, then put that down in the comments of this video or comment on another video that you find it relevant. And if you made it all the way to the end, I want you to put a balloon emoji to represent POP, get it? Pop method series that's coming to you next whenever I get around to finishing my research on that, filming the video, editing it, and all of that. All right, I have yapped enough, so thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a part of the community. All of you who comment, ask me questions, and leave me such encouraging messages. I love you all. I love you all so much. I'll see you on the next coffee chat or video very soon.